Hello and welcome back to another review. This time I'm talking about Scream 7. Now I just want to say a huge shout out and thank you to Paramount Pictures for hosting. We got to see it in advance before the embargo drops, so my full review will be out on NovaStream, so you can read it there if you want to read. But if you want to listen to me ramble on about Scream, you're in the right place. So, Scream 7 kind of retcons 6. It exists, but it doesn't. It exists in parody, which I did enjoy. There's a lot of jokes made about Neve Campbell not being in Scream 6. What a mistake that was. Moving to New York was a bad idea. All of which, as a fan, I agree with. So I did enjoy that Kevin Williamson style banter that kept it light and fun and frothy and winky. It did happen, I think, 3 or 4 times, and by the last time I was like, okay, I think you've hammered this into the ground a little bit too much. But it was still very funny and very amusing. Well done. The Kevin Williamson of it, so he is directing here and writing. Now look, he's not known for directing great films. I personally really enjoyed Teaching Mrs. Tingle, but a lot of that was just due to Barry Watson and My Gay Awakening back in the day. However, I think he deserves a lot of props here. He created these characters, so he knows these characters inside out, and that really shows. Sydney and Gail are just on point. They are who they are meant to be at this stage in their lives, and they're still like the core of who they were when this franchise started. There's new characters here. We've got Joel McHale, who plays Sydney's wife. He's also the chief of police. I think there's no movie or connection needed there as to why she was attracted to him and why she is with him. He's also Joel McHale. He's funny and hot, so it works. Sydney's daughter has just turned 17, and that is the same age that Sydney was when all of this stuff started, and now this stuff is happening to her daughter, who's also age 17. She is probably the only character they found undercooked, and I don't know if it was because she is undercooked or because the others are so larger than life and gargantuan that it is a little bit hard to stand out when you're amongst giants, and I think that may have been the case here. She is a really good actress. I just don't think the writing was enough to really set her out, and that ends my criticisms of the film. The absolute gore, blood, and viciousness of the kill scenes are next level. It is back to the original, where people die and stay dead, and they're not just stabbed so we know they come back. They are brutally, horrifically ripped apart. I loved that. I thought it was such a great move to make it feel like the original, series again, but in a new era, and I think that worked well. My issue with some of 5 and all of 6 is that the meta take was too much. It was too meta, and it didn't work. This movie is still meta, but it finds a balance between meta and horror that we really haven't seen since Wes Craven was there. And there's also some beautiful touches to Wes Craven and his films littered throughout this one. So I'm very keen to rewatch it and see more stuff that I missed because I was just so enamored this time around. Not bringing Neve Campbell back was a huge mistake in 6. They have retconned that, and the series is now firmly hers again, and I think it's for the best. This series is best when Neve is at the center, and she is just this character inside out. Whilst this time now we get to see her as a mother of a teenager, she also has 2 other kids who we see via, an iPad staying with their grandparents. But if they do continue with Neve Campbell and her family, I'm really interested to see the dynamics of her being a mother, because we got glimpses of it here, but because it kicks into gear so quick, I feel like they could really flesh that out more in further sequels, and I really, really hope there will be more. We get to see the after effects on Gail of her, really struggling with her attack in New York and the effect that has had on her body. And I think this film really shows, that Gail is, of a certain age, but everyone still respects her. Everyone sees her as this giant, maybe except for one character, in journalism who really knows her shit and is that, mentor. So the core four are not here, but we do get the return of Mason Gooding as Chad and Jasmine Savoy Brown as Mindy. These are the right two characters to bring back, to keep that sense of 5 and some 6 and propel the series forward. And I really did enjoy their performances here. I don't want to reveal what their role is and how they end up with Sydney and where she is, because the less you know about this movie, the better. And that's all I can probably really tell you without spoiling the F out of the whole thing. The less you know, the better. So if you see spoilery reviews, I beg you not to read them. Go in as blind as you can. If you love the classic Scream films, if you love these two, main characters of Sydney and Gail, then you are going to absolutely love this continuation of the Scream franchise. Now, there is a lot of, nodding and winking about Jamie Lee Curtis, who continually rolls out for the Halloween films, and, making that comparison here with Sydney, which is great. And I really do think that Paramount made the right decision by taking back control of this franchise and pushing it in that direction in the right hands of Kevin Williamson, who, look, we were all a little bit nervous because he's not known for his directing prowess. But here, his script is tight. His camera shots are brutal. Even, one of my friends, Adam, was commenting on the audio and the sound design and the editing was like off the charts. So I think this is just a really good horror film. And what they've been able to do is keep it classic Scream while also updating it enough so it doesn't feel out of place with modern horror films. There is the new, obviously, Sydney's daughters, gaggle of friends are very one note. And it is noticeable after you've been with them for about 10 minutes. You're like, who are these kids? Why do we care? And there's a really, really good explanation for that further down the line in the film. So Scream 7, I'm giving it 4 stars out of 5. I really couldn't fault it that much, apart from what I talked about at the start of my review. It is in cinemas from Thursday. This review obviously has to drop when the embargo drops, which is Thursday. So yeah, please check it out now. I am Lethal, and I'll see you on the next review.